Several years ago, while hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, I first heard of the Wonderland Trail from another hiker while resupplying in Cascade Locks, Oregon. A week later, I found myself hiking along the eastern boundary of Mount Rainier National Park. I spent a fantastic day experiencing great scenery with numerous wildlife encounters. I ended that magical day camped on a ridgeline overlooking Mount Rainier, which was an experience I'll never forget. While having dinner and watching the colors of the sunset reflecting on the mountain, I vowed to return and hike the Wonderland Trail one day. My trail name is Minor. This is my story. Well, good morning. I got into camp last night at around 8:40. Set up in the dark. I had a nice, large, flat area that was still open, so it was a good campsite. It was about 50 degrees this morning when I got up. Well, actually, it was about 50 degrees around 6 a.m. I didn't bother to get up until a little bit later. Had a hard time motivating myself to get up. Just did not want to move. Body's still sore. Definitely could use a day off. Fortunately, today is a short day. I think tonight is going to be the first night I will get into camp while it's still light. I will probably spend a few hours at the National Park Inn. They have a store with food and a restaurant. And then they have a porch that has great views of Mount Rainier. It's something I wasn't expecting. It's like a huge crevice. It's water down at the very bottom. Sections of trail like this are rare, where it's level or a very slight grade. Suddenly I feel like I can hike a long distance again. It's not even the amount of elevation gain and loss. It's the fact that the trail is often steep on those climbs and descents, and that makes you use your muscles more. It's like it's follow the cairns across this rock field. I'm not really sure where I'm going on the other side. Wish their flagging was a little better. That's another big one. Certainly wider than my hand span, stretching my arms out. Waiting for my lunch to be called. All the orders are to go, so I have to eat out here on the porch. There were tables over there, but I think I'd rather sit here where I can prop my feet up. Well, still here at the end. It's 1 o'clock. It's probably hang out here for another 2 hours and then leave. I got 3.5 miles to camp. I just want to take it easy and enjoy myself. Probably go over and check the museum out and the visitor center. I heard there's Wi-Fi over there. Back at the Wonderland Trail. It is 2:20 and 80 something degrees, mainly because I was in the sun, and it's relatively low elevation here. According to the sign, it's 3.5 miles to camp. There's supposed to be some waterfalls along the way. Breeze along this river feels good. Even though it's less than a mile to camp, this just seemed like a great spot to take a break, so here I am. Well, it's 4:45. Sun's starting to get lower on the horizon. That said, I will be at camp before 6, which will be a first on this trip. I will say I feel better after my long break back at Longmire. Almost walked by it. Trail camp's relatively new. They had to replace it, I think, 2 years ago. But trail at the bottom didn't seem that obvious. Happened to catch the sign out of the corner of my eye. Of course, I was looking at my feet, which didn't help. I have finally accomplished what would normally be something normal. I'm getting into camp with plenty of sunlight. Site 1 was taken, so up the hill to site 2. Now, the name with River Camp in the name, I would have expected a view of a river, not a camp on a hillside. And that's a lot of climbing. Well, bugs are coming out as it gets closer to sunset, and wasn't expecting that. I'm in September. Usually places I backpack, like the Sierra Nevada, very few places that aren't some kind of meadow or something with some kind of stream or something that's still running have mosquitoes. But it's not the case here. But anyway, I'm set up here in campsite number 3. I decided to move up the hill to the smaller spot. It's a little leveler, and I thought if somebody came in late, they might be a larger group, in which case they might appreciate the larger site that I was previously in. The privy up the hill is an open toilet. It's a seat without a wall, so that might be interesting in the morning. Have to bring something up the trail to make it obvious there's somebody at my head so that they don't get a sight that they don't want to see. Good morning. It's 6:20. I'm actually up at a decent time to ensure that I have plenty of time to get to my campsite tonight. It's like 58 degrees. Slept warm last night. Mosquitoes did go away after it got dark. Of course, temperature did drop a little bit after that, so anyway, I'm gonna pack up. I'm gonna go take care of the privy, which has no privacy, so I want to hit it early before the people down below might go up to it, and hopefully on the trail before 7. Well, that's the privy, the top of the hill. It's a long slog up here. If I'd been paying attention last night, I would have come over here for water before I went up to the campsite. This is a side trail to Narada Falls.
thinking that's it through the trees over there. Definitely worth, I think, going off trail for even if it's a small amount of mileage, but it's not a big deal in the scheme of things. Today I have less than 10 miles to hike. Just been the first 2 days. Even a quarter mile would have been too far, considering how late I got in the camp. But let's go check them out. If that's them, those are pretty impressive. I think it was well worth going all the way to the top over there to see the falls from up there. It was beautiful. Beautiful from down here. The side trip over here is well worth it. So I highly recommend it to anybody who is hiking past here. Well, spent a lot more time there than I realized. It's 8:45. Just a little under 6 miles to Maple Creek Camp. Thinking of having lunch there. I think I can make it there before 1. Not a lot of climbing. I asked at the ranger station yesterday for the weather, and she gave me the long range forecast out to the end of my trip. And it was basically sunny or partly sunny. Still amazing, the flowers are still blooming this time of year. I would have figured they would have had a few nights below freezing at least. I mean, because occasionally I see some vegetation that's changing color. Down at Longmire, there were some trees in the parking lot that were turning orange. Oh, more flowers again. All right, nobody from that way, nobody from that way, let's run. Too bad it's too early for lunch. It'd be a nice place to take a long break. Mowich Lake. And it's close, so I think I'll get a better look at it. Got some photos of it from above, but there's a nice beach to sit on. I'm going to take a break here. Have a late morning snack. It's like 10:30. Been in a huge hurry this morning. Guys, The overall mileage isn't that big, and been enjoying some of the scenery, stopping to take photos and stuff. Pretty mountainside. You can see the colors are starting to change. When I hiked the PCT in the last 2 weeks on the trail, these hillsides were bright red, particularly the last week of September. Certainly been a day of waterfalls. Feeling pretty good. Had a ranger just pass me here. He didn't ask to see my permit, though it was hanging on my pack in plain sight. So they are out patrolling. I have yet to eat any of my dinners. So I'm going to take advantage of all the time I have it for lunch. Now I know some people are all about fast boiling times, you know, cranking it way up, or getting an alcohol stove that has really fast burn times. I'm more about fuel efficiency. I want my fuel to last as long as possible, so that I don't have to buy as much. Well, it's bubbling a little. I'm going to call that boiling. That log would be fun to cross if this bridge wasn't here. I left Maple Camp around 3, having taken at least 2 hours there for lunch. And trail hasn't been too bad the last 2 miles. I'm almost to Box Canyon. It's like a quarter of a mile further up. Mountains over there are beautiful. They got a little bit of snow on the north slopes, but they really come out well on the GoPro. But that's Box Canyon. Should be through all the construction, I hope. Yeah, those mountains are beautiful over there. Feeling like a cow, they're starting to pin us in. I like that stone bridge over there. It's the mountains behind it. I'll see if it turns out on my other camera. I heard that there are flush toilets and there's soap in the bathroom, which is why I came over here. Well, less than a mile to camp. But it's a pickup truck that pulled in, had volunteer on it, and then a national park symbol on it. And a girl who was backpacking said, "Oh, thank you." He started to take her gear and put it in the back. I'm guessing that she got in to spit off more she could chew, and was done. It wasn't hard to balance across. I just sat on the large log here and had my dinner, since it's the last water before camp. Since I cooked my dinner for lunch, I had the remains of that sandwich from yesterday. And I get in the camp, I might have a bar or something to snack on. I'm here at camp at 5:20. Let's see what we find. That log is interesting. I mean, that stump. It's got a tree growing out of it. Decided to move over to site 3. 1 is a better site, but this overlooks the creek, and I'm hoping that means it'll be a little cooler over here. Just had another group come in, taking that 3rd campsite that I originally was in. Girl came over here and just wanted to check out the view I had. She didn't see that I was here at first because I'm cowboy camping. She asked me where the water was, but when I explained to her that I'm here because I thought it would be cooler rather than because of the sound of the creek, she could relate, because she also brought a 20-degree bag. She says she's been sleeping in shorts, but then she looked at my cowboy camp. "Oh, but you're cowboy camping because of the bugs, you can't do that." And I tried not to laugh, because I hiked the PCT a decade ago, and there's only 9 times I set up a shelter. I cowboy camped the entire time, and there were some times where we had thick bugs and all that. Cold weather, warm weather. I'm used to that. I mean, I default to cowboy camping unless the weather says otherwise. So, but the look on her face, it was just precious. It's like, "Oh, but you have to cowboy camp." Like, it's not like I don't have a shelter or anything, and I do have netting and stuff, but I could tell that she would just never consider doing so.